exactly the number, but it's a pretty good sized number. I'm going to say 8. The last 8 state champions have all been from Region 9, Region 10.
Yep. We've
We've got the corner on baseball.
Well, we were talking about it today at lunch. I have a family that lives up in Logan, and talked to them, and they were telling me that their baseball team had to shovel about 2.5 to 3 feet of snow just so they could have practice. They got the infield done one day. Everybody was out there. They had their shirts off and was shoveling snow just so they could practice on the infield. So they did the infield one day and the outfield the next, and had like all the students out there trying to push just so they can have practice.
Yeah. I've been hearing similar stories of when we went up for state basketball up to the Logan area. We were up at Utah State University, and I was talking to one of the softball players in that area, and she was like, yeah, we're going to have to go out there this upcoming weekend. We're going to have to go clear the field out. And I mean, they had 2 feet of snow. I'm like, that's not an easy job to go out and have to go try to clear out a bunch of snow. Well, I don't envy that.
And they're supposed to get another 6 to 10 inches this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm moving on.
See ya.
We're moving on.
All right. What you got for us?
So you are a Cowboy fan, right?
Oh, no.
Well, thank you. Mark. Thank you for that answer.
Absolutely.
Who are you? I forgot. I'm thinking of Brian Young out there.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
a Cowboy fan.
Anybody who's playing Dallas. That's my
good answer.
Now, who's your NFL team?
I generally go with the Saints.
Saints, okay.
That's a good. I like the Saints.
I do too.
I'm okay with the Saints.
Although I'm a little
You're an Eagles fan.
I am an Eagles fan.
Surprised by some of the decisions they made recently, but we'll go with that.
Hey, who would you rather have, Jameis Winston or Derek Carr?
Oh, Derek Carr.
Derek Carr.
Very
Okay,
excited.
there you go.
Very excited about Derek Carr.
So I saw Ezekiel Elliott's preferred teams.
Okay.
Okay. Now, as an Eagles fan,
Yeah.
you hate this guy. You should.
Well, we'll
He's
see.
a Cowboy. Well, he was a Cowboy. So his preferred teams are the Eagles, the Jets, and the Bengals.
Send him to the Jets.
So you want to send him into purgatory?
Just send him to the Jets.
Send him to the Jets.
Yeah.
Where would
Aaron Rodgers will love him.
Who would utilize him the best out of those 3 teams?
The Jets.
You think so?
Well, yeah. Well, because here's the thing: the Eagles already have a great running back room, and I don't think any of them have moved on. So, yeah, keep them in there. Why ruin something that's already working?
And the Bengals are kind of set too.
Well,
the Bengals could
we'll
use
see.
him.
The Bengals might actually end up needing him. We'll see. We'll see what happens with some legality issues
Anyways,
with some Bengals team members. So that's one of the big issues.
The
right
reality
now
is that running back position in the NFL is just it's so hard to tell.
It's a high turnover rate.
It's just it's so hard to tell because teams are either. I mean, you look at like San Francisco. Man, I think Christian McCaffrey made a huge difference, but guess what? They were still running the ball really well.
They were, yeah.
Way before he got there. He is a difference maker. And he made them even better, but they were still running the ball with with less than running back. So I mean, you look at teams are either really focused in on that area, and does it help when you start looking at Joe Burrow back there? If he has a decent running back, but again, is Ezekiel still a decent running back? Based on his numbers last year, he lost the starting job.
Right,
that's true.
What are you willing to give up to get the guy? And I don't know that.
Well, at what point do you have to look at it and say, okay, is he a good running back or is he just paid a lot of money? Mm-hmm. Right? Because Ezekiel Elliott's been that way for the last few years. He got a big payout after his rookie season was just phenomenal. His sophomore season, the same. He ran really well. And then he gets a big contract. And then it was just a dive bomb. And he's just kind of been he's okay. He's just kind of a middle of the pack running back. He's not a superstar running back like he was projected to really be.
Which is a great segue into this next little list I have.
All right.
The highest paid running backs ever. Do you know who number 2 is?
My guess is Ezekiel Elliott.
Ezekiel Elliott sits number
not
2.
Even surprising.
At $81.6 million. Number 1. Do you have any guesses for number 1? And
Derrick Henry?
I will say
deservable.
I will say now this is if I had to say this is based on total career earnings. This gentleman is retired.
LaDainian Tomlinson?
Adrian Peterson.
Number 1. Zeke Elliott number 2. Edgerrin James comes in at number 3 with $68.9 million. Your boy Christian McCaffrey comes in fourth. Frank Gore, Reggie Bush, LaShawn McCoy, Emmitt Smith makes the list. LaDainian Tomlinson, Marshawn Lynch, Derrick Henry, blah, blah, blah.
Interesting.
Those are the,
That is because I like I say it's a lost art. I loved seeing what the ex BYU boy, I just lost his name. Went out to Atlanta last year. Loved seeing what he did.
Yeah.
You see some of these guys. Utah had some with Moss and some of those running backs that they had. That went on and played and have played at different places. You can take a really good college running back and you put them in the pros and they can disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I look at like Zach Moss up there with Utah. Man, he was number one in the country. He was dominant. I mean, he was an absolute dominant player. He goes out to Buffalo and he kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
And you get on the wrong team. Like Buffalo was such a quarterback driven system that he just disappeared. And it's unfortunate, but that running back position's unique in the NFL right now.
Another great segue into my next little list. Nice. You brought up quarterbacks.
Okay, let's talk quarterbacks.
Let's talk highest paid quarterbacks in contract. Now, this is contract earnings only, so no State Farm, no Subway, nothing like that. Okay,
and is this total career?
This is NFL history.
Okay.
All right. Who do you think sits number one?
Tom Brady's got to be pretty high on that list.
Tom Brady sits alone.
Yeah,
up there. He is definitely top earner there.
Just for longevity, if anything.
Yeah.
And just his career, let's be honest.
$333 million.
Dollars. The fact that we both just did that was awesome.
Now, the next three, this is tier 2. Who do you think's in that list? Quarterbacks.
Brett Favre? I mean, he had a long career.
It's got to be current players too, just because there's more money nowadays. So I feel like you're probably looking at someone like Drew Brees, for example, or Peyton Manning.
Okay, all right, you're on the right track.
Okay,
here's tier 2. Aaron Rodgers.
Yes,
$306 million. Now, if he plays this coming year, he will probably surpass Tom Brady. But here's the other two. And you're right on because quarterbacks are overpaid. Matt Stafford.
Wow.
Is in that with $290 million. Actually, no, I'm sorry, $301 million. And also Matt Ryan, $292 million. Give this guy's agent a raise. Matty Ice makes the tier 2. Tier 3, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, and Eli Manning. That's tier 3. Tier 4, Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Russell Wilson. Now, if you put endorsements, Peyton Manning, I think, jumps this list.
Oh, yeah.
Because he is so good. He is so good. Tier 5, Kirk Cousins, Alex Smith.
Oh, that's high for Alex Smith.
Larry Fitzgerald, or actually this is not just quarterbacks now. Larry Fitzgerald made the list here as a wide receiver. Joe Flacco. Carson Palmer. That's a name you haven't heard for a hot minute.
Not unless you're a Bengals fan.
I got to admit, one of the most surprising things on that list, though, is that Eli made more than Peyton in contract money.
Yes, I know. Again, give Eli Manning's agent a little bump in pay.
Yeah.
My goodness. He made $252 million. Eli Manning.
But he also went to more Super Bowls, didn't he?
Yeah. Yes,
so
he won more.
I mean, I will say Peyton's the better quarterback.
Yes, Peyton's the better quarterback.
But he did do very well at Super Bowl. I don't know. I think he only won 2 and Peyton won 2. Yeah. But Peyton won 2 at different teams.
Yeah. The other thing to keep in mind is Eli was in New York, so that 51% tax bracket.
He probably didn't take home nearly as much as he made.
Peyton's over there, and
he's in Indiana.
Indiana, and then in Denver. I think he's okay, but when you're paying 55-60% in New York, that's brutal.
Yeah, plus, I mean, he's still a millionaire. I don't feel too bad for him, but
well, I think the Mannings are okay.
Yeah,
they're sitting pretty.
I got a memo. They're okay.
Yeah, and I think they're taking care of their old man. Archie's eating fine.
Yeah,
he's eating fine.
Archie's okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
not to mention now they have a younger Manning that's about to head off to the University of Texas. And make a name for himself anyway. So their nephew can help add to the big pile of cash that they can Scrooge.
And for the first time ever, he's getting paid to go to college to play.
It's that time,
right?
And this is the NIL is just the whole thing makes me absolutely crazy because I look at how are you paying these kids millions of dollars and they haven't played it down, but yet you're getting name and likeness.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it happens. It happens. Hey, we gotta go to a break, but we can of course wrap things up here shortly.
I've got another NFL list coming back.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I'm gonna put you guys to the test.
But first things first, we got to take a break. So we'll be back right after this. Back at it here on From the Bleachers, Caden Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
Throwing back the rock star.
Yep.
you got to.
Only one more segment and we can go home.
That's right. One more segment left. Hey, Jason Baum's still in here with us as well.
How you doing, everybody?
We're here. We're having a good time. We got about 5 minutes left in the show, though, guys. So we're wrapping things up. But Mark, you said you have one more category for us. So let's get to it.
Now we're going back to running backs. Okay, so put your running back thinking caps on.
All right, let's do it.
Who's the top 5? And we'll just kind of go start naming some names. All-time leaders, most 100-yard rushing games ever.
Eric Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson does make the list. Number 4.
Number
Emmett
4.
Smith. Emmett Smith is numero uno.
There you go.
Interesting.
I know he's a cowboy, but
yeah, he's a
it's
cowboy.
true.
Is Adrian Peterson up there?
Adrian
'Cause he
Peterson is not our highest
Interesting.
earning running back, or second highest earning running. No, he was the highest earning running back.
Yeah, he was pretty
Does
high.
not make this list.
I'm trying to think of some running backs. but
Detroit.
Are you talking about
you're
Barry?
onto something.
Barry Sanders?
Barry Sanders,
yes.
comes
Barry
in
Sanders.
at number 3. So you have 1, 3, and 4. I cannot believe you guys are missing out on number 2.
No, we'll get there. I'm going through the list in my head.
Number 5 is going to be tough, though. I will tell you that.
Is LaDainian Tomlinson up there?
He is not.
Okay, I would have been a little surprised.
100 yard, because you got to be pretty. Walter Payton.
Walter Payton, number 2.
Okay,
so
there you go.
This is how it goes. Emmitt Smith, 78 total games of 100 plus yards rushing. Walter Payton, 77. So 1 game difference. Barry Sanders, 76. So you have 78, 77, 76. Little bit of a drop off down to Eric Dickerson with 64. Now, number 5.
Currently playing or no?
He is not currently playing.
What era did they play in?
2010s
Okay.
I think he probably played into the teens, like maybe 12 or 2012, 2013.
Man.
I don't know exactly when he retired, but it was probably right around there. He had a nickname.
As
The Bus.
The Bus.
okay, yeah, that makes
The
sense.
Now,
Bus.
what's the name? What? That's the nickname.
I'm not enough of a Steelers fan to. Oh gosh,
You got the nickname.
I'm literally blank. A
Bomb.
pitcher's face.
There's people yelling at the micro.
Oh, yeah.
Yelling people.
They're
at the
so
screen.
mad at me right now.
Jerome Bettis.
Yeah.
There we go.
Jerome Bettis comes at number 5 with 61. 61 games.
Now, what would be interesting? I don't know if you can pull this. Is what I would be in the number of games. You know,
True.
Because
Yeah,
you look
true.
at like Barry Sanders. He had a pretty short career.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
He-
know, and
Like if you're
I-
looking at ratio, right?
I
Like,
still think that the best running back my eyes ever saw is Barry Sanders.
Oh, he was ridiculous.
He
It
was
just-
ridiculous. Shortened career by his choice, by the way. He didn't retire for anything other than the fact he just wanted to.
Well,
he
and-
was done.
And let's be honest, Detroit's line.
They were horrible back then.
Detroit's line. Detroit as a team. I mean, he carried that team.
Yes.
Literally carried that team. Because I mean, there's plays that they show where all 11 players missed him.
Right.
they all had a chance. So he was amazing to watch. I'm with you, Mark. We're old enough to really have appreciated.
I mean, Walter Payton is definitely in the conversation, but I still think true running back, stopping on a dime, spins, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if anybody is as good as Barry Sanders was at that. Walter
So-
Payton had his strengths for sure, but as far as pure running back, I don't know anybody better than Barry Sanders.
only played for 10 years.
Yeah.
10 seasons. That's
Right.
it. When you look at games played, he had 153 regular season games, then tack on an extra 6 for the playoffs.
Emmitt Smith, not taking
So-
anything away from him, but he, for many, many years, had the best offensive line
Absolutely.
in football. Again, I always preface that with not taking anything away from him, but I really am taking something away from him. I mean, great running back, don't get me wrong, but he had the running behind the best offensive line in the league for many, many years.
Have you watched Peyton Manning's little football thing where he goes around and he did it the 100 years and
Mhm.
kind of did,
Yeah.
the one he did on running backs was fantastic because for me watching it, I mean, probably one of the most underrated running backs in my opinion is LaDainian Tomlinson.
Oh,
when you
Agreed.
when you start going through his numbers, it's like, I mean, he's not somebody who jumps into your mind, but man, he was an insanely consistent running
yeah,
back.
no, LT definitely pops in my mind
But
for
again,
sure.
he's another one of those kind of an Emmitt Smith factor where he just didn't play as long of a career either. He really didn't. He didn't have that long of a career.
You mean Barry Sanders?
Or what did I say?
You said Emmett.
Oh, yeah, I meant Barry
Barry,
Sanders. Yeah,
yeah.
I meant Barry Sanders. Yeah, because he just didn't play nearly as long as, for example, Emmitt Smith played from 90 to 2004. That's a lot of
Yeah,
games.
and really,
That's,
LT
you know?
was one of those players too that kind of transcend the game a little bit, transcend that position where, I mean, there was a couple of running backs before him that could do it, like Roger Craig, but being a passing or receiving running back as well, being able to not just run the ball but also going out into the pass pattern. LT was one of the best, if not the best.
But I'll throw one out there that nobody ever puts in there because he got injured. But can you imagine if Bo Jackson would have had a full career?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, seriously, can you imagine?
That would be the one that I would say that would compete with Barry Sanders as far as a running back. He was so fast, so strong. Bo Jackson.
He broke his leg running somebody tackling him from behind. I mean,
yeah.
He just
Cincinnati Bengals.
Think about his power, and he was scary. I think that he's one, but he just had such a short career.
If Bo would have stayed healthy, he would have been a Hall of Famer in both sports. If he would have picked one, he would have been the best player of that sport of all time.
Agreed.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Jason, thanks for stopping in.
Loved it, guys. Love the new studio, by the way.
Yeah, it's looking good in here, huh? It's looking pretty good. All right, well, we have to, of course, head out, but we appreciate you stopping into the show today. And we're getting ready. It's Thursday, weekend of baseball tomorrow starting off.
Yeah,
so
baby.
We're getting into all of that as well. So thanks for stopping in with us, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.